Hello everybody, welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. And if you hear any kind of like humming or buzzing in the background, I got the fan on today. It's hot as a sumbitch in here. Working on like a Cintiq tablet type thing. Gets hot. Gets real hot. And my room's very small, and my computer, it kicks out some stank. So it's really, really hot. Anyway. So thank you everybody that's here. I really do appreciate it. Everybody that's, thanks James, everybody that's sharing, liking the videos and stuff. Yeah, and if you're a Patreon, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And if you have no idea what Patreon is, it's a way that you can support artists that you like. I'm on there. If you wanted to head on over there, there's some goodies over there. I will be making a post, hopefully, I want to say sometime this week, and I'm going to start it next month, by the end of this month, which is I'm going to randomly pick a Patreon, and I'm going to do a commission for them for free. Sort of like if you guys have been following me on Twitter or Facebook, I posted like they look like baby Ninja Turtles bust shots mostly of like Batman and Spider-Man, just to test some stuff out. I'm going to do one of those for free and randomly select somebody and send them out once a month. So if you guys are interested in, I guess, going into the lottery, the raffle for that, you would need to just be a member. So minimum there is like a buck, but you get a whole bunch of other stuff too. So go check it out. So today's video is a little bit of a companion to a video I just released today. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you probably already watched that video. For those of you that are in the chat today, maybe you didn't see the video I shared today. What it is that workflow that I talked about. Let's see if I actually have it here, and I can just bring it up really quick. No, okay. Give me one quick second. Wait, do I actually have it anywhere on here? Okay, so here it is. I forgot that it's in a different window. There we go. So we can bring this in here. So the video I did today was basically just talking about seeing if there's a way to replicate this somewhat style in Manga Studio. And the video, again, it just talked about some of the ideas and methods that I would go to replicate this. Now that I have the brushes for that, you can actually see them over here. These are the brushes we did in that video. I'm going to attempt to just do like a kind of a style test here for Castle Dracula. It's kind of exciting because this is like the first. I wouldn't say this is 100% how the feel of the book would kind of be like that, or anything, you know, dramatic. But I just wanted to get the workflow sort of started for the project and see if this has a look to it that might be kind of cool while I'm working on the script in the background. So during the pre-show here, I quickly just did this thumbnail. This was actually like a thumbnail. You guys know how I work. It's just a generic thumbnail. Just sketching out some ideas. I figured, you know, classic, some sort of quick establishing shot. Gildas has, here's something behind him, and then it's sort of like him turning around, and they're just surrounded by these things in shadows. Nothing complicated, nothing dramatic, but it has, you know, like a full body shot of him somewhat, in his face, and that's all I really need to see if these tools, if I like how they look, how the whole thing comes together. So, got the thumbnail there, and the next step there is just once we blow it up, lower the opacity quite a bit, and then just you know, make a new layer with pencils, and that's what we're doing right now. I'm just sort of filling in the blanks, the detailed areas of things that I'm going to need. Gildas's costume here, it's very simple. I haven't finalized the design or anything just yet, so I'm going to keep him, you know, pretty much naked, except for like we got this action down here, like a belt that I know he's going to have, and I think he's got a kilt, but we don't need to really necessarily see all that just yet. And a fist and some guys in the background, and then we got kind of like a bust shot. I'm not sold on the face just yet, but again, this isn't like a final version of anything. So let's go ahead and go next, keep going here. I don't really need to worry about thumbing out this too much. I already know where I'm going to go with that. So the next stage of what I would do, what do we have in here? Okay, some information there. Just gonna make a new layer here. We're gonna change this to monochrome, so just black and white. I'm gonna call this borders, or this panels might make a little more sense for you guys. And I know there's like panel tools and stuff like that. I've just gotten used to just using this rectangle shape. And I think I've already customized, made it a little bit bigger than it should be. So we can go like this. I know this guy is going to be a rectangle in here. There's only really one panel in this. I might make two. And we'll go ahead. We're going to just rotate that. Just put it on tilt a little bit. And I want to have Gildas's head pop out here as well. And leave a little bit of room for that little like spark. The sexy Gildas girdle. There you go. So have that. I know we're going to kind of just blend it in here. I want to have some brush effects. So right here you can see I'm going to have like, this is all going to be silhouette for the most part. It's just a very easy, cheesy way to do backgrounds. And it's going to meld into like some leaves that will be on the same trees that are around him there. So we don't really need to worry about panel borders too much. I'm kind of wondering, nah, what the hell, we'll leave it. We don't need nothing special. So the next step here, I'm just going to lower the opacity once again on that. And I'm going to start with the face because that one's probably, you know, the most important, at least for like the purposes of this test here. So we'll make a new layer, and I'm just going to go to my tools here. So those that aren't familiar with this, again, I like to call it the Freddy method. Just grab the DC Comics Guide to digitally drawing comics. It'll show you theoretically the workflow. And I'm having a lot of success with it. I get a lot of good feels with it. And you can see like this isn't necessarily a dead 3-pixel brush at all. So make sure the size isn't. But if I go light with it, I can get the same sort of effect as if I was using a marker in the real life. Let's just gotta make sure I got all my tools set up. Okay. So let's get in here. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit more than usual here. Let's start with the eye. Oh. Thought I had that as the undo button there. The idea is to pretty much work like as if this was real Pigma markers or microns, you know, whatever you kind of like to use. And you're kind of thinking about this like tight pencils in a way. And when you go over there with the excuse me, the inking part at the end, you can go ahead and you can clean up quite a bit of what you might find to be the problem areas. Am I going to use the new brushes? Yes, I am. These are them right on the side here. It's literally this marker here, and then we got some Kuretake style brushes, and then that's really all you use. Pentel brush pen. I can show you guys this one here that I kind of have. It's got like a really cool ink feel to it. Goes light and it feels like it's being dragged. That's got some pretty cool effects that I can use with it. And I'm just trying to keep the tools I'm using pretty minimal. That way, I'm trying to rely more on like creative skill to get an effect that I want. And we'll see how it goes. I did notice somebody else on one of the previous videos, they were asking, since they're not a Patreon member, if if there's any updates on Castle Dracula. And not really, because I haven't really been sharing any with the Patreon members either, just because there isn't much to report on. I'm kind of swamped right now with client work. But I plan on trying to square away some time just to devote to this so we can get this party started. And you guys can let me know too. I've been thinking about almost bypassing the turtles pitch and just going right into this. I know a lot of people like turtles, myself included. But I'm just thinking if I can get this kind of going as well, I can still send this to editors and theoretically get the same feedback. just want to actually. We're gonna come. I probably shouldn't do that. Look like this. We're just gonna turn the opacity down a little bit. Just need to see a little bit more what we're working on. So we zoom out. You kind of see where it's at right now. You'll see right away. Like this isn't. You guys that have been following me for a while. This is all pretty standardized stuff here. So I'm gonna grab this flat brush here so I can hold shift. So we can get the headband started. Q-Light is saying, I say focus on Castle Dracula. A lot of people I talk to, that's what they all say too. Just gonna do a little bit of detail work here. I'm not even sure really how I like that face. Even that eye is pretty suspect. It's starting to feel a little more commando-ish than I like. I still have to work on his design. So we're just gonna have the hair kind of all folding into itself. Just gives it the illusion that there's some depth in there. James is saying mixed feelings for him. My Ninja Turtle work is really over the top. Thanks, man. Well, hopefully that stuff can translate right into anything I'm doing, and if that's the case, then we should be okay. Like, don't get me wrong, Ninja Turtles would be one of my is one of my dream projects for sure. They're just such a massive part of me growing up. I think a lot of people as well. I know a lot of people as well, for sure. So just kind of drawing some of his muscles here. I find this pen tends to work best when you're zoomed out. He's gonna have the big old beefy neck. I'm not really sold on that eye, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn that layer off for a second, and we're just gonna try drawing it again, so we can get some a little bit more style. Q-Light is saying, if you're going to work on something, let it be the project you love and want to do, whatever it may be. Sketch 391, everybody knows how the turtles are. Kupo. Massive Final Fantasy fan over here too, bud, so it's good to see you back. They're saying, your art got me back into drawing the Ninja Turtles. I've been drawing them non-stop now. Yeah, they're pretty contagious. You see other people making Turtles pictures, you kind of want to make your own, because they're so, I don't necessarily say they're easy to draw, but they're so style-friendly that it's really hard to make bad-looking turtles. As opposed to like something like this, or if you kind of get the face wrong, it's, you know. It's really easy to tell that something's not really working out. Alright, I kind of like this a little bit better, this face. Or that eye, I should say, not the face. Alright, so what we'll do is we're going to bring back the other one. Turn that sucker blue and just erase it, because we don't need it no more. We're going to go with this face. This eye, I keep saying it. Yeah, it's better. And okay, so we'll make yet another layer, and we're gonna get the big ol'. It's not really a cape. Is it a cape that you'd have? What is this? I guess it's a cape. It's not a great big fancy cape. We'll clean all this up. I'm just going to draw through here because there's some areas here that I'm going to get confused at. Get some shoulder action. Nah, I don't like having. I like just having it like that. That looks better. Alright, let's start cleaning some of this up here. Alright, we got a tangent there that we'll fix. For those of you that don't know what a tangent is, if you see, let me just go back. See how this line, like, this is a fluke. You guys have seen it how I was going. You want to be aware never to do this where, like, a line intersects like this with another line. It breaks that illusion that you're always trying to do with art of breaking space. So I'm just going to, like, bring it in like that. And it just makes it read better. So always be conscious of that, okay? Don't screw yourself over. I've done it plenty of times where it's like you can ruin an entire picture just because of something as silly as that. And it always sucks. So some hair kind of going here. Let's erase this. I actually don't even know what his hair's doing. Yeah, we'll go like that. Got so many layers going on here. Oops. Alright, so let's start erasing this stuff. Q-Light is saying the pen is great. I've been bouncing around with Sketchbook Pro and Manga Studio. Got a lot of choices. Yeah, I really should. You guys continually bring up Sketchbook Pro. I downloaded it a long time ago, but there was no proper paces with it. I should definitely give it another romp. See how it is. I'm just stuck with Photoshop and Manga Studio that I don't know. It's very hard to just continually grab more things to go to, you know? So let's get in the headpiece here. And you can see like how sloppy this whole thing has been. But again, I find personally that it has this tendency, this feel to speed things up. I'm not necessarily 100% sure if it's true. Feels like it. Those are just botched right up. Come on. Let's do some good ones. Let's get the other part of his headband on the other side here. I should probably save it here. Okay, so let's clean up these lines if we can find them. Here, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna just start merging these layers together. This is getting out of hand. And the panel. Gonna erase that. This is one of the reasons why I like. I'm not too familiar with the panel setup for the borders in Manga Studio 5, so I usually just use this. So because I do like to break the frames up and stuff. So this would be like pretty much how the pen looks. Let me just zoom in so you guys can see it a little bit better. The one thing that's a little scary, but I do like as well, is just having that variance of thick to thin with very little variance, but it does feel like it adds a little bit extra to things that are going on here, as opposed to just inking with like this brush here. There's nothing wrong with this one at all, but I just feel like just getting a little bit of range when you can is pretty good. So what we'll do lastly here, so we got the pen set up. Just gonna make a new layer, and then this is where I usually use the Kiritake large, and you can just go nice and light, you know, get your border, or you can go fat. I just want to show you guys something here. You guys will see if you watch that video. I kind of talk about. I added a texture to it, so you can see it's not, even though this is black and digital, it does have this feeling, hopefully, of paper texture in there. When you zoom out, you might not see it, but it feels like it when you're drawing with it. And if I change it to monochrome, it kind of gets a little bit of tooth in the actual lines as well. And the only reason you change it to monochrome most likely is if you are sending it to somebody to color. Okay? So let's go ahead and outline this guy. And I like to zoom in just so that it's easier to get these lines. And I'm able to add, I don't want to really be adding line weights, but it's nice to think about them, because when we get to the inking stage, which I don't consider this to be, but once we get to the inking stage, we're going to be doing a lot of cleanup and all our final lines and stuff. I want to have pretty much inking freedom for lighting and rendering, right? So this is just to make it pop. That's all this really does. So that you can go in there and you get the choice of how much you want to light something or render something or whatever. See, and I'll do something like this too, where like the lines get a little fat down here. So I'll just grab the lasso tool and just kind of like draw a shape like that, and you can just clear it, and it gives it like a real sick looking point. James, I like your idea of using the ink brushes in multiply for paper texture. Yeah, actually here we can just pop this open so you guys can see. If you look here, where is it? Texture? No. Brush shape. That's where it would be. No. It's in here somewhere. Okay, there you go. Brush tip. You can add all kinds of materials and things in here, like the Pentel brush pens. That the pencil I have is like a combination of things. So yeah, I definitely recommend going in here and just fiddling around with stuff. You might get some really cool settings. And you'll notice too, once you add this contour line, a lot of the lines that I've left open, like what's going on here? I can't see. Oh, whoops. I have his neck going through the hair. It's not that cool. But you'll see like all in here, like look at this is all open. Once we do end up inking, and rendering or whatever we're going to do, I can clean all that up. And it's really simple. I use a USB controller. I've showed you guys this as well. And I put a lot of hotkeys to that so that I'm usually just using a controller right now. I'm not even really touching a keyboard. And I have one of the buttons switch. If you look over here, it'll just flips between foreground and background. So theoretically when I'm inking, I'll just show you guys. So like let's say we're inking and we're cleaning this up, like all in here, right? I can go in with black and I can just, you know, fix all this up and then snap it back to white. So interesting. So apparently it doesn't want to work. Let me just see something here. Okay. Normally it works. It draws in white. Now we got white going here. Maybe there's just something up with. That's good to know. It's like it just defaults to that. Anyway, so if I were to go black, let's just say when we're inking this up, and we got some cool lines coming in here and blah blah. You can just snap to white and just redraw really over, back to black, back to white. And this is how you can get some really cool built up like layering kind of looks. Like if you look at that, it looks kind of cool. But this is how you just kind of play around with this sort of stuff. And the line art underneath that we've been doing is more or less just, think about it, just placeholder. Placeholder information until you get a chance to get down to actually sit down and do the inks. And one of the awesome things about Manga Studio 2 is like you can like set the stabilization up. So when you've got these long lines, you can just stabilize it. Like watch. Stabilization's at whatever. How do we do this? You can see it's got a little bit of a lag to it. So what we'll do is I'm going to do this piece of hair. I'm going to go somewhat slow so that it catches up. Like that. But this is awesome for like what I'm doing right now. That would pretty much be it. Is there any way to key the transparent function for erasing? Key the transparent function. Oh, you mean like going between soft eraser and hard eraser? Is that what you mean? I'm gonna have to look in here to like why this thing just keeps snapping into why I can't go to white. Maybe it has to be a color layer. Let's try that. Interesting. Okay, well, see if we can kind of find it. Some of you guys might want to know a little bit more about that. Alright, so let's go to ink. Let's see if there's something that says it's like snapping a white here. Brush shape, brush tip. No, spraying effect. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look this up here. So what we'll do is we're just going to go in here. We're going to actually try to ink this up here. But since I can't use white on this, it's actually a big problem. We're just going to go and use, let's see what we got here. I don't like that one. Textured pen. No. Turnip pen. I kind of like that hit to it. Some pressure sensitivity. Mapping pen. Whoa. Alright, well, we'll just use this for the sake of the stream here. Alright, so I know my light's going to be on the right here, because, or on the left, so the shadow's going to be on the right, because I want to have all that in black so that his eye pops. I would like to have all the focus kind of be here. Let's see here. Just worrying about line weights and stuff in here, in this stage. So I'm actually just going to be filling all this area here in with black. So I'm just trying to cut all the pieces out, and we can always draw back in. This is where it gets tricky. I don't know how much rendering I want to do just yet, so I'm stuck. I default just want to go in here and do this, just to add all that, but again, I don't know if that's the style, blah blah blah. Let's put a little cast shadow here. I can feel already one of the, might not be a problem for you guys, or it depends on the style, but one of the problems I'm having with this brush is it gets so thin, and this is what I always used to ink with in Manga Studio, but it's getting so thin that it makes me want to go in here and add a bunch of detail, even though it's probably not even remotely close to necessary. Yeah, see, I don't really like that. We're gonna have to play around a little bit, because I'm starting to, like, I find when you're using a lot of this line art here, it's like you can build up a lot of volume with just generic pen, you know. So I'm wondering, you know what we're gonna try? We'll try this here. Let's turn off all our lines except our contour lines. And try to ink it a little bit more open. Going back to what we set out with from the beginning, with those commissions as our starting ground. You know, all we're worrying about is line weight. And maybe we'll use gray tone or something. So if that's the case, we're going to have to put in a second eye here. Kind of liking this a little bit better. Just that open line stuff, you know. What do you guys think? I know it's more of a style question, but is the open-ended lines like this, they feel okay? Or do you prefer, hey Jessup, or do you prefer like the solid black kind of look of this stuff? I know the solid black stuff can tend to be more dramatic, and this open line stuff generally tends to look better when it's colored. So those are things that I'll have to keep in mind. But this could be grayscale for sure. Hey buddy boy, what you doing? You can add like detail work and stuff. Like this, eh? I'm wondering, is the audio lagged? Guys, type if you want, just so I can do a lag check. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's not too bad. Okay, cool. Just gonna go a little quicker here with this. But essentially that would be it. And I mean, we could always go back. And I'm just gonna try with the grayscale in a second here, but trying to see what a little bit of texture looks like. Alright, so we'll make a new layer here, and then with this one I'm just going to go with the what's it called here? The gray tone. So just fill it with a light gray for now. Just to see how this looks with this here. Personally, I'm a fan of how my art looks with color. I used to be really heavy into the black and white, and I don't think there's, like, I still appreciate that art and stuff, but just seeing what color does to art, I'm just a little bit more interested in that as of late. So going in grayscale would probably be a good compromise when you're talking about working with speed, right? And this way you don't always have to draw worry about color theory and stuff. You just need to understand light and shadow to get a nice gray composition going and stuff. It's great for indie books, that's for sure. I know some people don't like gray books. I know I used to like go to like conventions, and people would be like pitching their books and stuff, and I'd pick it up like, yeah, it sounds good, and I'd open it and I'm like, ugh, where's the color? This is like half a comic book. I've matured since then. I understand why people do that, and it might not necessarily be just because of cost, right? There's people that enjoy black and white photography, black and white movies, right? They definitely got their place. This is just like quickly done here. But yeah, I think as soon as you start adding tone and this sort of stuff, it feels just a little bit more rich. I don't know why. It just really pulls the line art together. Lord Xerus, he says they want to work in the black and white style. James is saying he just did a project where color wasn't allowed, and it drove him nuts. Color's amazing, man. Like, you can, with bounce lighting and mood lighting, you know, like you color something red and bloody and violent kind of looking, and then you color something blue and it's cold and desolate. Like, you can, there's just so much language there, right? Same with heavily shadowed and rendered artwork too, for sure. For show. I wonder if we were to go like this. We could dark background. I don't know. What the hell, for the fun of it, we'll just leave it for now. Oops. I'll just make one other quick pass here just for some shadow. And I already know right away like how much this is gonna really pop. Just with like a single layer of shadow. Like whether that's too much or not, that's fine. It's pretty much just doing what I would do with black and just making it gray instead. Oh, that's gonna work. That's fine. Excuse me, sorry about that, guys. Ink skill, yeah. It's really cool, like texture effect here that we can go back. Excuse me, I got one of those feel like one of those dry coughs coming on, you know, where you start losing your voice and everything, you start getting watery eyes and all that garbage. Some cast shadow action happening. I think I already like this art like way better than just solid black. Like it lets the art breathe a bit. You can still tell like an emotional story and all that, you know, garbage. You know, storytelling stuff. And you could probably even see how this looks. I'm just gonna do like bounce light here. Let's go a little brighter. And this is actually pretty important, like being able to do bounce lighting. As long as it works. Like I know it has to work, because if it works in color, theoretically it can work in grayscale as well. But just say we have like that dramatic, something's on fire from underneath the characters or something, you know. You want to be able to have like that light being able to show up and stuff. That looks pretty sharp. Don't mind it. And let's go ahead and just add a little twinkle of some white in here. Just to really sell the eye. Yeah, that's cool. I dig it. Now the challenge would be seeing how this looks with like a bunch of characters and stuff, right? Come on, where are you at? There you go. So let's get those pencils back. I guess maybe I wouldn't be able to do cool effects like that up there. Maybe I could. Let's give it a shot. We'll go black this time. Oh, thank you. Just putting the base of this stuff here. Just like some plants and stuff. Yeah, thank you. Damn. Wow, that time really flew. Yeah, we'll do a critique. If you guys can jam in something for a critique, we can do one real quick here. Sorry about that. Last time I looked, it was like only 8:30, and now the show is pretty much done. So yes, by all means, please, we'll jam with one in. I'll randomly pick somebody, and now we'll try to help somebody out here. So this would be Gildas here. That silhouette could be way better. That's fine. And this is, I just wanted to make this part of whatever we're doing tonight, so you guys can see, in case you don't do this that often, like how easy silhouettes can help. Like, they need to be better than what I'm drawing here, that's for damn sure. I'm just trying to do some quick stuff, but how easy you can just start to get some, you know, some serious emotion going on. Like establishing a scene and stuff without having to draw much of everything. Okay, so let's wrap this up here. Where's the shadow? I know you're here somewhere. There we go. Alright, so let's save this up here. Okay, so I'm going to randomly pick one here, and we're going to try to go pretty quick with it. Lord Xeris, we'll go with yours here, bud. So let's click that open, and copy. Excuse me. Man. This cough won't stop. Alright, so what we're going to do is, while this is loading here, I'm just going to paste this in, and we're just going to do a very quick one tonight. Hopefully within 5-10 minutes I can hammer this out just to help you out. We'll do some basics. And for those of you that aren't able to watch it or watch the show, this streams every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want to get more critiques going on for you guys to help you guys out. And so if you can make it, by all means, please hop on in so we can TCB, take care of some business. All right, so here we go. First impressions is how we'll go, and don't take any offense to anything I say. All of this is in my interest of getting you better, or at least seeing things a little differently. And if I'm able to do that, that's great. But I'm just one person, so you can tell me to go F myself, or there might be some stuff I'm saying that can help you out, and I hope there is. Okay. So first impressions, it's cool. It looks feminine. And I'm not necessarily sure if that's what you're going for, but if that was it, then awesome. Some of the reasons why it looks a little feminine, in case it's not, is the hips are pretty big. Right here, we got some big hip action. Long fingers that don't really have much muscle or bone to them. I know it's feline, but I think when you're trying to separate the characters, sometimes, you know, males will have a little bit more muscles going to them, usually, okay? But if this is a female, it feels more feminine to me. I would mess up the eyes a little bit to give them a little bit more like a human feature with like the thicker outline around the eyes and stuff like that. Now, saying all that, what I'm going to hopefully help you with is the anatomy. The anatomy feels very wrong, feels very off. So we're going to turn it blue, and like we do every time, let's go ahead and grab red. I'm just going to redraw over what you did, and this is a stage I still think, or you're probably new here, or well, people could be new everywhere, right? That I don't think you guys usually skip this stage here, and that's drawing proper structure underneath. Okay, so this is what you have for the top of the torso, and it looks like it ends around here, and your shoulders here, neck is here, shoulders here. So far feels good. And then we have the torso going down like this into giant hips. Now the legs, they're fine. The only thing I will critique about them right here, no, we gotta do this right. Sorry. Like that. Then we got a shoulder that's going into an arm, going into the hand. Alright, so let's move this over here so we can see it without all the fancy detail. Now when you look at this, it looks like there's a lot of things we can do to it, a lot of work. We can kind of figure some stuff out, but you need to understand anatomy a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and say this isn't how this figure was constructed. It just doesn't feel that way to me. Could be wrong. It feels like it was done with like circles like this to figure out where anatomy is going to go, and then to do the arm we would go like, okay, well, I know arms kind of go like this, and then there's an elbow, and then there's a tricep and a bicep into the shoulders. That's just the way it sort of feels, okay? So what I would recommend you do, just like I recommend everybody do, grab your sketchbooks, and this is powerful stuff here. Being able to break down form and then add anatomy over top of it, okay? So this is the torso. This is the shoulder socket. That's the other shoulder socket. There's where our head's going to come from. And from here you pretty much got the torso on point, so I'm not going to really mess around with that one. I like to use whatever's in the foreground to determine what's going to go in the background. Now this thigh, I'm going to do the cylinder stuff here, guys, is coming at us, and the calves is going away from us, and then the foot coming towards us. Now what this does is this is going to, let me just turn the background down a little bit so you can see a little better. What this does is it establishes where our second leg needs to go. So like this is the perspective we're going with here, right? So that hip is still coming towards us like this, kind of like how you already have it, but this back part, this heel, it still needs to be shown. It would be like back here. That's going away from us. And then we got the foreground here of the foot would be there. At least that's the perspective we have, okay? Now this arm has to change because it can't go to the side anymore just based on the corrected anatomy. So we're going to use a circle here for a shoulder. I'm going to continue to do cylinders because it's the easiest way to see it. And remember, these cylinders, they got to get bigger as they come towards us. And we could put like the hand here or something like that. And this is starting to get into some like pretty dynamic anatomy here because things are coming way at us. Things are going into the distance here. This arm would curve like this, a little bit different than what you have. And the hand would still fit there, you know, and you could get your head in like that. So what I'll do is I'm just going to highlight this and just move it. So you can see just the difference between the two. Okay, so all I really did for the most part is just correct where the hip placement is, the foot placement, and where the hand is going, just to balance it out. Some people might feel like going this way with the hand. You know, that way, that's fine. Or if you really want it like directly in front, I like to work a little bit backwards so we can put where we want the hand to be. And then we kind of bring it in like this, so it's kind of like they're getting ready to pounce. It's not straight on. And if we just lower the opacity a little bit, I'll just do a really quick one here. We can wrap this up. We can just start figuring out where the anatomy would go. Okay. So we got our hand, the wrist, which then goes into all the cool muscles. And this would be the side view of the shoulder. Wrap into your pecs. This muscle is going to go into your neck. Okay, and it leads into, you can get that little dip if it's the feminine again. Some butt cheek action. Okay, so we'll just turn it off so you can see a little bit different of the anatomy here compared to, again, just what we had above here. Okay, so you can kind of see what's happening with your with the anatomy there. So I hope that helped you out. Thank you again, Lord Xerus, for submitting that. And I honestly do hope that helped you out. And just to recap, for everybody else that's interested in getting this stuff kind of going, please practice your cylinder, people. Get comfortable in breaking down the body into cylinders so that your perspective, your dynamic anatomy, your understanding of form and perspective is going to gain such a huge boon from doing just that monotonous, boring, garbage work. It's essential for you as an artist to be able to do this. I don't care if your style is a manga, Eastern, Japanese, Asian style, or if it's a Western superhero steroids kind of looking guy or girl, right? The fundamentals are the same. It's no different from drawing cars, as hard as they are, of just rectangles and boxes in perspective, that helps sell the illusion of realism, or the fact that this cartoon that you're drawing could be real, and it's not questioned as like people subconsciously seeing something saying, it's good, but it's not as good as somebody else's, but they couldn't tell you why. And usually it just comes down to the fundamentals that are underneath all of the artwork that subconsciously we can all see and tell, but some of us can't really put into words. Okay, so again, thank you guys so much. Yeah, I do. Okay, I did see that this was an old picture, but that's cool. Hopefully you've learned since then, and you're even better now. So thank you guys once again for stopping by this week. If you wanted to head on over next week, the show is 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter. Where else are we at? Google Plus, if anybody uses that. And I think that'd be mostly all the places. Yeah, so you guys can just check out Wednesday. I can post the link there. And if you came in a little bit late, these shows are uploaded on YouTube every Saturday or Sunday. So you guys can look forward to that. And like usual, and we like to end all these ones, you guys. I wish you all the best with your projects. And until next time, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.